Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Concepts. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different, not talking so much about artwork, but instead about politics. The first debate for the presidential candidates of 2012 was last night, and I got me thinking a little bit, so I wanted to talk a little bit about it. But this video, since many people may be watching it after the election has been decided, is still relevant for any future elections or the voting process in general, I guess you could say. So here we go. It's not my intention in this video to skew anyone's opinion towards one candidate or the other, or to even talk about my personal opinions or who I'm going to vote for. In fact, I'm going to try really hard not to get all soapboxy and argumentative with myself about certain issues. But yeah, I've just been thinking that it seems to me there's two different types of voters that I encounter, and I mean there's all different kinds, but generally a lot of people that I meet fall into two categories. And the first category is usually younger people who either don't really care or aren't interested in politics, and think that they would rather the rest of the country decide for them. They're not interested in watching the debates or figuring out who to vote for or even voting in general. And then there's the other side of the spectrum where it's generally older people who are so entrenched in one party that they refuse to even consider outside options. So they may be, either Republican or Democrat, and they won't even listen to the other side of the story. They just are so adamant about their party's belief systems that nothing can sway their opinion. So both of these extremes kind of frustrate me in the same way, and that's that it seems like nobody's willing to keep an open mind, and it always seems during election time especially that our country starts getting divided into two different teams, or even three different teams if you think about the people that don't vote or vote independent or vote outside the two-party system. And it's all of a sudden we're all against each other. If you're not on our team, then you're against us. And the way I try to think about it is that we're all on the same team. We're just trying to find the person best to lead our team. And, you may have one opinion and I may have another, but in the end, this person is there to help our team. It's not like one person is trying to destroy the country and another person is trying to make it better. It's not, whoever is elected is going to try their hardest, I would hope, to run the country. And just because it's not the person you voted for per se, doesn't mean that it's a bad person for the job. At least I hope that people would be able to understand that. And my experience has been, without revealing too much of my beliefs as far as the parties are concerned, every election that I've voted in, I've ended up voting for the losing candidate. So I know how it feels to feel like you lost, or to lose hope in the rest of the country, or to lose your faith in the way the rest of the country believes. But I'm forced to think, sometimes it's really hard, but I'm forced to think that just because everyone else didn't see what I saw in a candidate doesn't mean that I can't see what they see in their candidate. That's kind of hard to word, but just because I get upset because it seems like everyone saw the bad in the candidate I voted for and the good in their candidate, whereas it seems like I feel the same way, on the opposite. So if a candidate's elected, then you should just try to see the best in what they bring to the table. Try to see what everyone else, what the majority of the country saw, and go with the flow. It's not the end of the world, hopefully, but getting back to what I talked about at the beginning is when these debates come up, or when an election comes up, it's so hard to talk to people that are so entrenched or so, just apathetic towards the situation. And the thing is that no matter what you believe, the two parties, Republican and Democrat, are so close to the middle. It's not like we're talking about extreme liberals and extreme conservatives at this point. They're so close to the middle that they share a lot of similar things. So to just completely not even listen to one side, or to completely almost hate one side, just really bothers me. And I know it's hard sometimes to see the good in the other side, but I think it's beneficial. I wonder what you guys think. Do you think, like, how would you vote? Not like who are you going to vote for, but what's more important to you when you vote? Is it, how your leader presents himself? Is it or herself? Is it like charisma? I know people have said, I've talked to people that say it's, how other countries perceive us. If we have a charismatic president, if we have somebody who's well liked, other countries will like us more. Is that more important to you? Is it somebody who is likable, who you would want to invite home for dinner? I can see that. Or is it somebody who's not necessarily liked, but is good at what they do, or is successful at what they do? There's somebody that may, treat the country as a business instead of, being liked. And I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm trying really hard not to skew in one direction towards the other, because they both have benefits and they both have, flaws. And I think both candidates, I'm still at this point very undecided. I'm leaning in one direction, but I think both candidates have strong attributes and candidates have flaws. And another question is, especially in an election like this where you have a president who's coming up for a second term, is it more important to you to let them finish out their 8-year plan, or to let somebody new get in there and try it? I mean, on one hand, you have somebody who, could, he already knows the ropes, so, another 4 years would just be like continuing what he's doing, obviously. And then on the other hand, somebody who it'll take a while to get into the swing of things. It's not going to be like an easy transition, and that always comes into play when you have a president that's up for re-election. What's more important to you, or does that even come into play? Does it matter to you? I know a lot of people think that one candidate, like I hear it all the time, that a specific candidate or the other is evil, or that they're terrible people, and I don't understand how you can get that. Like, even if you think that politicians are manipulative, which is not a very far cry from what they are, or if you think that they're, conniving, that's still a really far way away from being an evil person. And comparing these political leaders to just, the bane of the earth it's pretty extreme in my opinion. So, yeah, just what do you guys think? Are you going to vote? Do you not want to vote? Don't have to tell me who you're going to vote for. I don't, that doesn't really matter. And I don't want to start these big political debates in the comments. So, yeah, just what do you guys think? What did you think of the debate, or what do you think of the president if the election has already been decided? Have you voted before? Do you believe? The other thing is, do you believe in this whole electoral college thing? I know a lot. Well, at least when the very first election I got to vote for was in 2000 when Gore was running against Bush, and there was a big problem because Gore supposedly won the popular vote but lost the electoral college, and I remember then it was being called into question about how archaic it is and how it doesn't really represent the country's belief or the country's majority voting, especially when we have supposedly all this technology that can handle individual votes that wasn't available back when the electoral college was invented. I don't know, stuff like that, but I haven't really heard much about it since that election, so I just wonder, do people still think it's, do you think it's necessary to revamp our voting system? I kind of do. I don't think the electoral college makes much sense. I think it just dumbs down. It makes it made me feel like my vote was less important. And in a time when it's already difficult to get young people to vote, I think that anything we can do to make it seem like your vote matters more would be helpful. Um, yeah, so other than that, I'm looking forward to the next three debates, one vice president and two presidential, and then the election in November. Um, I hope I can find people who are open-minded and optimistic about the future of our country and the future of our leaders, and not get too heated and belittling and almost aggressive with you when you talk politics about them. To me, that's a complete. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems with talking about politics, is if you get somebody who's so heated, so like into it, that they just start belittling you and putting you down for your beliefs, then all of a sudden it's just a lost cause. You start, there's a whole bunch of problems there that can't be resolved with just a healthy back and forth. So yeah, I guess that's it. Just keep an open mind and try to listen to both sides. Even if you've already made your decision, which I know a lot of people already know who they're going to vote for, don't completely write the other guy off, because you never know, they might be your president, and it's not good to, I don't like to go to hate my president. I don't want to hate my president. Once they're elected. So, you may have to learn to live with them, but at least start to see what other people see in them now, and maybe it won't be that difficult. So anyway, hope you guys have a good day and a good week and a good month, and yeah, see you later.